The history of President Mohammed Siad Barre was the head of state of Somalia from 1969 to 1991. Prior to his presidency he was an army commander under the democratic government of Somalia, which had been in place since independence in June 1960. During his rule, he styled himself Jawal Siad, Comrade Siad. Barre was born into the Marathon clan near Shilabo, Ethiopia, although he later claimed to have been born in Garbahari in order to qualify for the Italian colonial police force. Before he joined the police force, Barre had been an orphan shepherd. He had no formal education, but attended some military courses in Italy. He became the vice commander of Somalia's army when the country gained independence from Italy in 1960. Barre became an advocate of Soviet-style Marxist government after spending time with Soviet officers in joint training exercises in the early 1960s. In 1969, during the power vacuum following the assassination of President Rashid Ali Shermark, the military staged a coup on October 21, 1969, and took over. Barre was to rule for the next 22 years. He established a pervasive personality cult, assuming titles such as Matalinka, teacher, Abba, father of knowledge, and Gulea, victorious leader. Large posters of him, many of which can still be seen today, were common in the capital Mogadishu during his regime. One of the earliest deeds of his regime was to introduce the Somali language as the education delivery language. All education in government schools had to be conducted in Somali. This was necessary as there was a growing rift between those who spoke the colonial languages and those that did not. Many of the high-ranking positions in the government were given to those people that spoke either Italian or English. To keep everyone on an even playing field, the Somali language was finally written down. The Latin alphabet was selected as the means for writing the language. The establishment of the Somali language as a national language created a new confidence in the masses. In 1972, the second anniversary of the military government, all government employees were ordered to learn to write and read Somalia within 6 months. Siad Barre also championed the concept of a Greater Somalia, which intended to unite all ethnic Somalis in one nation-state. Also aimed to incorporating Djibouti, the Somali region of Kenya, and most importantly the Ogaden, which was part of Ethiopia but was inhabited by ethnic Somalis, into the Somalian state. The Somali National Army invaded the Ogaden and was at first very successful, capturing most of the Ogaden. This first phase was ended by the Soviet Union's sudden shift of support to Ethiopia, followed by almost the entire communist world siding with Ethiopia. The Soviets began to distribute aid, weapons, and training to the Ethiopians, and also brought in Cubans to assist the Ethiopian regime. Ultimately Somali troops were pushed out of Ethiopia. Control of Somalia was of great interest to the Soviet Union and the United States due to its strategic location at the entrance to the Red Sea. After the Soviets abandoned Barre, he subsequently expelled all Soviet advisors, tore up his friendship treaty with the Soviet Union, and switched his allegiance to the West. The United States stepped in, and until 1989 was a strong supporter of the Barre government, providing approximately $100 million per year in economic and military aid. U.S. government asked Siad Barre to allow them making bases in Barbaros, Somalia, but Barre refused, saying in the process, after landing in Somaliland those will have rights and I can't allow it. On the international front, Siad Barre played an important role in October 17 and October 18, 1977, when a Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine (PFLP) group hijacked Lufthansa Flight 181 to Mogadishu, Somalia, holding 86 hostages. West German Chancellor Helmut Schmidt and Barre negotiated a deal to allow a GSG-9 anti-terrorist unit into Mogadishu to free the hostages. By 1991, the situation in Mogadishu was very dire. The rebels, led by warlord Farah Aidid and his rebel group, the United Somali Congress (USA), attacked Mogadishu. Aidid fought against government forces, and Barre was finally overthrown on the evening of January 26, 1991. After leaving Mogadishu in January 1991, Barre temporarily remained in the southwestern region Gedo of the country, which is the power base of his Marathon clan, where he launched a military campaign to return to power. He twice attempted to retake Mogadishu, but in May 1991, he was overwhelmed by General Farhat and his army, and went into exile. He initially moved to Nairobi, but opposition groups there protested his presence and support by the Kenyan government, so he moved to Nigeria only 2 weeks later. He died on January 2, 1995 in Lagos, Nigeria from a heart attack, and his remains were buried in Taariikhdii state of Gedo, Somalia. Siad Barre was a great leader for the Somali people. During his rule he united the people. He fought poverty, disease and hunger, and he will be wisely remembered for burying tribalism in every city of the country. He was regarded the father of the nation through wise ideas such as a written Somali language. One of his quotes is, "In our revolution we believe that we have broken the chain of a consumer economy based on imports, and we are free to decide our destiny. And in order to realize the interests of the Somali people, their achievement of a better life, the full development of their potentialities and the fulfillment of their aspirations, we solemnly declare Somalia to be a socialist state." Siad Barre was once asked in an interview why the Somalis are fighting. His answer was, "The people that use tribalism in order to rule Somalia are mad people, and they were in prison during my rule. They are out now to the open, they can't be controlled, even the key to the prison is lost." It seems amazing that a country could be without government for 18 years now. Somalia's tribal rulers seems to have lost a way to find peace in their rich country. And as the dream of Somalia United was lost at the end of Sayed Mohamed Abdul Hassan, it was thought during Siad Barre's rule Great Somalia or Somalia United is achievable, but once more lost after Siad Barre's death. In today's Somalia, no rule is there to unite a people that share religion, common language and many other similarities. The warlords have created different states within Somalia, and the country's warlords seems to have chosen a new way of life. This way seems to be division within society that belongs to one another. If today leaders like Giri, Abdul Hassan and Siad Barre were alive, they would have buried themselves and would have chosen death. The reason is obvious: they would have seen that their dream of Greater Somalia was now being run in ruins by their enemy.